Hello everyone and welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, where I'll be giving you 7 of my best bets for tomorrow's race in action. Yeah, you heard it right. I'll be giving you 7 bets across the likes of Chepstow, Hamilton, Wolverhampton and Haydock as well. I fancy quite a few tips tomorrow and fingers crossed we can have a good day tomorrow. But just doing our usual recap before we get into those. It's been not a bad day for us today. I'm actually recording this video slightly earlier because I'm actually doing a podcast tonight about the Epsom Derby, so I wouldn't have had time to do it this evening, but yeah, that will be coming out first thing in the morning, so stay tuned for that. It'll be on my Twitter feed, and then you can check out and hear my thoughts and feelings for the Derby, the Oaks, and also as well the Eclipse. But I will be doing my final selections here on my YouTube channel the night before, so stay tuned for that. And to not miss out on any of those videos, make sure you give me a subscribe. So yep, that's what you got to do there. But yeah, just recapping on today's selections, we've actually come out with a small profitable day actually. All our profits have come from our 2 each way tips. Loaders Extra, which was Highland Acclaim, did drift in the betting, but Ruth Carr, if I remember correctly, I remember she said in an interview once she likes to actually have a punt on her horses at big prices, and the fact that this horse drifted out, it didn't really concern me. We put it up at 9 to 1 last night and it went out to 14 to 1. But she's a bit of like a secret punter, I believe, and she likes to back them each way at massive prices. And 14 to 1 was a fair price. And this horse, I thought at one point was going to come home and just get his head on the line, and he was just denied by Becky Menzies, Missy Prissy. But Highland Acclaims, even though he has been a frustrating sort for win purposes, he showed a little bit of life today, and I'd be interested to see what the handicapper does with him next, because I think there's definitely a race in him still on the turf. He hasn't won on the turf for a couple of years now, but if he can still stay in this grade, I think he can definitely take a race of that nature. So for me, I thought he ran all right, and he gave us a nice bit of each way profit there at 14 to 1 with a nice drift. We then had our Longshot, which was our other source of profit for the day, in the 310 with Osaka. Ran on really strongly for Sophie Ralston and Tony Carroll. Was eye-catching last time and kind of was a bit eye-catching today. Ran a pretty similar race, but be interesting to see if the handicapper keeps that horse on the same mark. I believe he was actually due to go down maybe £1, but I think he'll be winning again soon. Maybe when they get racing back at Brighton, that could be a place to follow him at. It's a track he's done well at before, or even at Bath again. You know, he could definitely run a nice race in the future. So yeah, Osaka, he drifted out to 16 to 1 in the end, and again that was another source of each way profit. Our lay of the day as well, Real Estate came in again, was like his run last time at Bath, where he was finding traffic problems. He was very well fancied in the market, but I personally thought it was more of a warmer race than he ran in last time at Bath, where I thought, even though yes there was some good horses in there for the grade, I thought it was a winnable race for him, and this was a little bit more tougher in my opinion. But yeah, I was proved right about Real Estate and got that selection right. Hope some of you took him on. If you took him on for the lay bet or had a bet against him, you know, you definitely, I thought, too short for what he'd achieved last time out. And then our disappointments of the day were actually our nap and next best. Our next best, Cheshire, just don't think the horse liked the track at all, was too sharp for it. But yeah, it was a bit of an odd race considering that there was a lot of market support for it. It did touch 11 4 in places. We put it up at 11 2 last night, so there was obviously a little bit of money and support for it, and it obviously didn't live up to market expectations. And then our nap, Roman's Empress, not sure what to make of it really. Jockey gave her every chance, you know, but she just wasn't good enough on the day, and she just got outstayed against some better horses, to be honest. And it was Ollie Murphy that just went and won again. Had a 4-timer yesterday, cleaning up the jumps, and now he's going okay on the flat. He can always saddle a flat winner. So yeah, it was a small but profitable day for us today, and hopefully we can continue that form into tomorrow's racing with my 7 tips. And we're going to get things underway at Chepstow tomorrow, and this is going to be my only tip of the day at Chepstow in the 1:15. This is just going to be an extra tip, and I'm just going to recommend a win-only bet, and the horse is called Pastfact for Malcolm Saunders and Liam Canary. Currently 9 to 2, you can back it at the moment. Now this horse was quite eye-catching last time when he finished in 4th place at Windsor, and it was a really good run considering the form has been boosted, because you've had the likes of Nappin for Amy Murphy go and win again at Lingfield. You had the Portaferro horse, which made the frame for John Bridger, run a fair race against an informed horse for the grade called Delegate This Lady for Michael Atwater, who I think had won on her previous start. So yeah, there was a lot to like about that run, and even though this horse hasn't won for quite a while, it's coming now back down to a reasonable mark of 53. And this track as well is a track that this horse has won at. Back in 2017, he put 4 career wins together, and the horse went right up the handicap, and because of that, it's probably suffered in higher grades, and now it's been given an easier chance. And it was nice to see that there was a little bit of ability and a bit of spark there at Windsor last time out. And I just think if it can show that attitude it did last time, it's going to be a major contender in this race. And at 9-2, I'm going to give it a chance as one of my extra tips, just a win bet only, but nonetheless, I think has got a good chance in that race at Chepstow. We then go to Haydock. Now, you kind of want to be looking at the weather forecast for some of the northern venues tomorrow. There's going to be some rain coming, so the ground's probably going to end up getting on the soft side, and there's rain expected at Haydock tomorrow, and my selection here in the 3:30 Zip can handle those conditions for Richard Fahey and Tony Hamilton. You can currently back it at 9-2, and again, it's just going to be a win-only bet. Now, this horse handles soft and heavy ground, no problem at all. Won at Catterick towards the back end of last year on heavy ground, and that's going to be a real positive. I was looking through some of the form of his rivals tomorrow, and a lot of them don't handle soft ground, so that's going to be a good outcome hopefully for Zip, in the fact that conditions will be in his favour. And I thought he ran a okay race last time at Thirsk when he was staying on really strongly. He was a bit outpaced at one point, but he dug deep and he finished in a credible 4th place. Again, I'm saying this a lot at the moment, but I think it was a good race that will work out at Thirsk. It was won by Magical Effect for Ruth Carr, and I like the way that he still stuck to his task, and he's done well at Haydock in his career before. Finished their second twice last season in some nice races, so if he can run his normal race, I think he's got a great chance of going really close, and I wouldn't be at all surprised actually if he went off favourite tomorrow come post time. So that's going to be my selection there. We then go up to Hamilton for my next 3 tips up in Scotland, expecting a deluge of rain there tomorrow, so it's going to be testing, and all these horses have shown ability on soft and heavy ground. And in the 4:15 tomorrow at Hamilton, I'm going here with a horse called Gregory, currently 7-1 with bookmakers at the moment. This is going to be my long shot, not the longest long shot tip I've ever tipped, but nonetheless this is my biggest odd horse tomorrow, and I'm going to recommend an each way selection here for Phil Dennis and to Mr. B. Now, this horse had lots of form on soft and heavy going last season, won a few races, made the frame in a couple of races, and it ran a really credible race on reappearance over 6 furlongs at Ripon. And I just think maybe the ground was a little bit quick for it that day, and maybe it didn't quite handle the course at Ripon. You know, it's quite an undulating course, it's quite a difficult course for horses to take to. It's quite a specialist track in my opinion. But Hamilton, I think, will suit this horse, no problem at all. And the rain that's forecast tomorrow shouldn't be an issue for it. And this horse is going to be off a mark of 68. In this race, there's going to be, again, some horses that won't like the conditions and that are going to have to be given away lumps of weight to Gregory. Tim Easterby's horses are running a lot better now. And with receiving lots of weight, I think at 7-1, I think he has to go very close. And for me, he's going to be my long shot pick of the day. We then go back to Hamilton, or stay at Hamilton I should say, with my next best in the 5:50 with Le Chiffre, a reference from James Bond there, the villain from Casino Royale, one of my favourite films of all time. You can currently back him at 11-8 for David Nolan and David O'Meara. This horse bolted up last time out on handicap debut in a really nice race at Beverley. Beat a fair horse of Hugo Palmer's, and I think he's well treated here under a penalty tomorrow. Where he's still in effect going to be raised £6 in future from the handicap up to what he's racing off tomorrow, even under the penalty. And I just think he's going to be a horse that's going to keep progressing. I think they found a nice little race here. There's not too much to worry about. He's buys off knee as well, and his progeny seem to handle soft ground okay. And on the dam side as well, there's a bit of soft ground influence, so that shouldn't be an issue. He does have to carry top weight, but I think he can be a class above his rivals tomorrow. And in the 5:50 at Hamilton, he is going to be my next best. We then go with another extra tip, and this is going to be the dirty each way here in the 6:20 at Hamilton with Multellie for Danny Redmond and Tim Easterby. Now Danny Redmond's able to claim a handy £5 off the horse's back, and this horse ran a encouraging reappearance at Newcastle last time out, where probably all weather isn't his bag. He's not from free on the all weather, and going back to turf should suit him no problem. And again, he's going to be a horse that will be favoured by conditions. He actually won at the course on soft ground last year, and he's off a mark of 77, but I still think that looks fair. If you go back through some of his form last season, he was racing off much higher marks at the start of it in the mid-80s, so 77 should be within his range. And Danny Redmond as well is a positive jockey booking. He had a nice winner for John Quinn, I believe, earlier in the week at Musselburgh, so he's definitely not a negative, and that £5 is really going to help him. And I think Multellie, in a race where again some of these are out of form and might not stay the trip, have question marks about them and might not like the gun, you know he's going to like the ground, he's going to stay, and I think he's definitely going to take a leap forward from that run at Newcastle. I think there's a lot of things in his favour tomorrow, and at 5-1 I think it's worth the dirty each way. We then go with my layer of the day, which comes in the Wolverhampton race at 7 o'clock with a Spurofthemoment, currently there at 1.94 at the current time of recording for Jim Crowley and Charlie Hills. Even though this was a nice winner at Lingfield the other day, it does have to carry a penalty, and this race is far warmer to that race. It actually beat a horse rated 47 by 6 lengths, which does look like a commanding performance, but honestly the race was full of weak types, and Spurofthemoment, even though she had shown a decent level of ability, I think going up in grade tomorrow, I'm not sure she's quite capable of mixing it against some of these. There's some nice horses in here that are good old reliable sorts in this grade, and I just think she might get found out. And at odds on with some firms, I think she's too short for me, and I would want to be taking her on. I wouldn't lay her for a place, but I would lay her for the win. And I think at 1.91 I would want to be getting stuck into laying her there. I think she's vulnerable stepping up in grade tomorrow, even though she could improve. But like I said, I think there's a few old timers in here that could definitely put her back in her place. We then go with my nap, which runs in the final race at Wolverhampton with Galata Bridge in the 8:30 for Jim Crowley and Sir Michael Stout. At the current time of recording was available at 5-2, and this horse has got a lovely pedigree by Golden Horn, and this horse is half brother to Multellie, who was a really good horse over the mile, a Group 2 winner, finished second I remember, I think behind Chepstow in the 2017 Queen Anne, and there's also as well a half brother to Group 1 winning Voracious. And this horse, like Voracious, is in the Cheveley Park colours, trained by Sir Michael Stout, and this horse is going to be making its handicap debut tomorrow off a mark of 71, which I thought was quite fair, and it ran a really eye-catching race in what looks like a nice little novice race at Newbury, where there's some well-fancied types. This horse ran on strongly in the closing stages to finish in second place, and going up in trip tomorrow, should definitely see this horse to good effect. So Michael Stout's team have been in good form since the lockdown. They've been having quite a few winners, and Jim Crowley isn't a negative booking either. He's done quite well when he's ridden for Sir Michael Stout in the past, and I think there's a lot to like. The main danger is probably Tie Power for the King Power, but I think this Galata Bridge could potentially be a lot higher rated this season. With his handicap mark, he could maybe be a 90 horse come later on in the season, as most of his horses, most of the horses in his pedigree have gone on to bigger and better things. So they're my 7 tips for tomorrow. Just quickly recap: in the 1:15 at Chepstow, Pastfact at 9-2 is my extra tip. In the 3:30 at Haydock, Zip, and that's 9-2, and that's another extra tip as well. At Hamilton in the 4:15, you go Gregory, 7-1 each way is my long shot. In the 5:50, Chiffre is my next best at 11-8, win only. In the Hamilton 6:20, I've gone for Multellie. You'll see it anyway in the description box below. 5-1, dirty each way, that's my extra bet. My lay of the day comes in the 7 o'clock at Wolverhampton with Spurofthemoment, currently lay for the win on Betfair Exchange at 1.91. And then we go to my nap in the 8:30 at Wolverhampton with Galata Bridge, 5-2, win only bet. So they're the 7 best tips for tomorrow. So if you haven't done so already, please make sure you subscribe here to my YouTube channel for more videos. If you want to be part of that Telegram page as well, where we've got a nice community of punters going, we've got about 100 people on it now, sharing their thoughts and feelings on the racing and also what's going on in the world of sport. If you want to join it, just click the link below and it will send you straight to the Telegram group. You just need to download the app on your phone, and then you can just follow the instructions from there. And if you want to follow me on social media, the best place to do so is on my Twitter account, where my handle is @luckyloader15. So that's all I got to say. So if you haven't done so already, please subscribe, please gamble responsibly. Hopefully we can have some winners tomorrow, and we'll be seeing you soon.